So Fiji versus Portugal is just around the corner, and it has now been confirmed Wales will be taking on the winner of Argentina versus Japan. So for Fiji, if they get at least 1 point from this contest, they'll be taking on the English in the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. But in this preview, we'll be looking through at the starting lineups, the key players for the sides, what they have done throughout this Rugby World Cup in terms of scores, and then also a prediction at the end of who we think will walk away with the victory. But we will start with this Fijian lineup. It is a relatively similar lineup to what we did see in their last contest up against the Georgians, having the narrow victory, but not wanting to change too much for this game, only resting a couple of players. In the front row, it is Aroni Maui at number 1, number 2, Sam Matavesi, and number 3, Luke Tangi. Now, after the last game, I was a bit concerned seeing Sam Matavesi's name in the starting lineup. He wasn't getting his lineouts right. Perhaps with the change of Timo Mainavanua at number 5, that may help the lineout stability, although it is going to be a big task for Matavesi to find form before the quarterfinals. In the lock and jaw, it is Asoana Silasila at number 4, and at number 5, like I mentioned, will be Timo Mainavanua. In the loose forward trio, number 6, there is a change. It is Meri Derialangi, and he is coming in rather than Lakima Tangivalu. Number 7, Lavani Botia. That man has been putting in some massive shifts throughout this Rugby World Cup, whether he's coming off the bench or in the starting lineup. He gets turnovers, he makes tackles, and he's a very dangerous man for the Flying Fijians. Number 8, it is once again going to be Viliami Mata to close out this Fijian forward pack. Looking through at their back line, and it is 2 changes. At 9 and 10, Frank Lamani will be the starting halfback for this contest. That is rather than Kuravuli, who has been completely rested for this week. No signs of him, and that is a trend that we see for a couple of the other backs. Number 10, they have gone with Vilamoni Botitu, so this will be his first start at fly half in this Rugby World Cup. He did come in as the injury replacement for Caleb Muntz, so now will be interesting. See how he does end up going. Number 11, it is Vanaya Habosi into the starting side rather than coming off the bench like he has the last couple weeks. In the centre combo, Joshua Tuisova at number 12, and number 13, Waisia Naiathalevu. He will be captain for this outing. Number 14, Celestino Ravatamanda, and then at number 15, rather than Eliza Druasisi, they have gone with Soreli Mangwala to close out this Fijian starting lineup. Now, looking through at key players for the Fijians, I look at their midfield combo, and there is a chance that it is able to run rampage in this game. Joshua Tuisova at number 12. The man makes a lot of running meters. Also has been able to score himself a couple tries throughout this Rugby World Cup. It's a tough one for Tuisova. We've heard about what's happened outside of rugby. The fact that he's still playing for Fiji during those tough times is absolutely incredible and just shows that fighting passion that man has, and I hope he has a brilliant performance here. I hope they can get far in this competition to really do it for Tuisova and his boy. Then on the outside, Waisia Naiathalevu in that midfield combo. It is going to be exciting to watch what they're able to do, because Waisia Naiathalevu, he's almost been the puppeteer in this Fijian backline. He's able to pull the strings, work in the backline the way that he needs it to, so that he can score tries and also get assists for the Fijians throughout this Rugby World Cup campaign. Then out of the forwards, Lavani Botia, you got to go with him after the way that he's played throughout this Rugby World Cup. I would have loved to say someone like Adiri Alangi, first opportunity for him. If it's anything like how he plays for the Drua, he will be a standout performer, but Lavani Botia, just game after game, shows exactly why he is world class, and I don't think this game will be any different. Looking through at the Portuguese starting lineup for this contest, it will be Francisco Fernandes at number 1, Mike Tajir at number 2, and Diogo Hassi Ferreira as the number 3. In the lock and jaw, Jose Madeira at number 4, and then number 5, Steffi Chakira. Then the loose forward trio, David Wallace once again gets a start at blindside flank. And number 7, Nicolas Martins, and then number 8, Rafael Samos. At 9, Samuel Marquez. After a great game last week up against the Australians, we'll be looking to continue their momentum. Number 10, Geronimo Portela. Number 11, Rodrigo Mata. In the centres, it will be Jose Lima at 12. Does take the captaincy off Thomas Appleton, who will be coming off the bench for this game. Number 13, Pedro Betancourt. Number 14, Rafael Stotti. And then number 15, to close out the Portuguese lineup, it is Manuel Cardoso Pinto. So the key players for the Portuguese, I believe Sam Marquez at number 9. His passing game is very strong. Alongside that, just the way that he is able to find the gaps, and Portugal's backline is one of the best around when they get it right. The quick passing, the nice offloads on the inside. In fact, it's that inside ball that has given them a slight edge over some of the sides that they've gone head-to-head with. I believe Marquez, if he can get to those breakdowns quickly, get that ball out the back line, that is where Portugal will find success. Rafael Samos at number 8, big physical individual, will enjoy the challenge of going head-to-head with the Fijians, marking up with Viliami Mata. Those two gonna be just massive hits after massive hits with those two players, and looking forward. Seeing who gets the better of it. The other player I'll go with as the key for Portugal is probably Mike Tejia, mainly because if the lineouts aren't going well for Sam Matavesi, if Portugal can get their lineouts right, that is where they could get some quite nice momentum in this contest in their favour. Now looking through at the previous results, both of these sides have played 3 games in this Rugby World Cup up to date. For the Fijians, they started off their competition with a loss up against the Welsh, 32 points to 26, but in that game they earned 2 bonus points and a lot of fans from the way they were trying to fight back near the end of that contest. In their next game, they managed the victory over the Australians, 22 points to 15, and then their most recent game that they've played, it was up against Georgia, winning at 17 points to 12. So the last 2 games, they have won by 7 and they have won by 5, but they have not had a game that has been split throughout this Rugby World Cup, win or lose, that has been more than the 7 points. So they like to keep the games close. They're always in the fight, I think, is the best way of describing it for the Fijians. They had to dig extremely deep in the game up against Georgia to get themselves that victory, and it was the bench that had the real impact in that game. And most of the players who came off the bench are now in the starting lineup for this contest. Main man that I'm looking at there is Frank Lamani for Portugal. They started off the Rugby World Cup losing to Wales 28 points to 8. Now in that game it was a lot closer than the scoreboard does insinuate, because Portugal at times, they were pushing the pace, they were putting Wales on the back foot, but in the end just not quite clinical enough to be able to get themselves the victory in their next game. It was an extremely close one, and they don't get much closer than an 18-all draw up against the Georgians. They had moments where they could have won that game. Couple missed kicks did mean that they missed out on the points, but the Georgians also missing kicks, so it could have easily gone either way there. And then the last game, up against the Australians, they were defeated 34 points to 14. Once again, the scoreboard doesn't quite represent what we have seen from the Portuguese throughout this Rugby World Cup. I feel there is still plenty to come for this young Portugal side, but now we are up to the stage of the video where we try and predict what the score will be. Now, I believe Fiji will come into this game with a lot of momentum after winning their last 2 contests. Yes, that game up against Georgia was a lot closer than they would have liked it to be, but still being able to dig deep and get themselves the victory would have been the momentum that they did want to create. So I'm saying Fiji will win this game. We've seen Portugal lose by 20 twice so far throughout this Rugby World Cup. I see this game being a lot closer than that. I am saying Fiji to win it 31 points to 21. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but Fiji, they should be able to get themselves that 1 point that they require. I believe they'll walk away from this game with 5 points due to getting the bonus point of 4 or more tries. Still a decent effort from Portugal though. I believe they will score the most points that they have throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. The Fijians, they have to be hungry in this game and they have to play like they want to get to those quarterfinals. But thank you all very much for tuning into this preview. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think the score will be in the comments down below. We will be live on the channel doing the commentary for this contest. It is an 8 a.m. kickoff in New Zealand on Monday morning and should be an epic way to close out the Rugby World Cup group stages. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.